Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
We're so glad to have you join us again this morning with Dr. Bhargavi Kola, who is a teaching and practicing physician in pediatrics with the Texas Tech University Health Science Center. And we left the program last week when she was here talking about how important it is for children to learn to read. And she's part of a program through the Texas Tech University Health Science Center that is really, really encouraging parents to read to their children, read with their children, and get their children involved in a reading program. Do you have anything else to say about that, Dr. Kola, before we begin our program today on some other topics?
Yes, I would be glad to take this opportunity to say that we have been conducting a program on May 11th, the Saturday, in Music City Mall in Odessa, where there's an afternoon dedicated just for kids for reading and activities we have after that. We encourage all the kids to be participated. Every kid is invited to spend some time to read story and have some fun activities.
Okay, so come to the Music Center Mall in Odessa on May the 11th with children of all ages.
From 1 to 4.
From 1 to 4, and they're going to have so much fun, and they're going to really see all of the different excitement that they can form if they become good readers. And we had some good feedback from last week's program, but in the meantime, we have some other questions that have come up, and I'm not a very good one to talk about. I don't have a cold, but I have allergies. But I want us to talk about colds and those kinds of respiratory things in children.
Common cold, as the word is by itself, it's very, very common, and it doesn't spare the kids. So moms come to us with high expectations that my kid has cold and I want it to go away by tomorrow. It's not possible.
No.
It's not definitely possible, because
it doesn't in adults, and it's not going to in children.
It's the universal rule. With medications, it goes away in 7 days. Without medication, it goes away in a week, which is the same. So the moms have to understand that, and they have to be very patient with their kids. And considering our pediatric group, we have certain age group which is very prone, like under 5 years are very prone to viral infections. And most of the time the common colds are because of variety of viruses which stick into your body. And you do not give antibiotics to it, and you do not demand antibiotics to a doctor, because I see that moms are very upset. I've been here 3 times and the cold doesn't go away. You come here every single day until the 7th day, the cold goes away on the 8th day. Or sometimes it can even linger for about 10 days. So there are certain indications why the physician does not want to give antibiotics, and I guess the parents need to understand that.
And they must not demand it, because that's keeping them from becoming immune to it when they need antibiotics.
Right. So when you give a medication which is not indicated for, you develop a resistance to it. And with the virus, which does not respond to antibiotics, it's just psychologically treating the parents that, hey, they have a medication, they will be fine. Even without a medication, they will be fine. So I want to talk about certain things where a mom should know when to panic. What is the red signal that you have to call the doctor?
Good, the red flags.
Right. Good. So everybody has a common cold. I'm sure everyone has it once in a while. When a kid starts with it, he starts with a congestion, runny nose, and because most of the time our kids do not walk, the babies don't walk, they sleep. When they lay down, the secretions trickle down the throat and they kind of cough. So the cough becomes more in the night, where the mom and dad cannot sleep well. So that's a main complaint. But they have to understand this is the reality behind it. They can have fevers. Usually low-grade fevers are fine of having fever. And then the appetite. They should not jump onto feeding them as usual, because they are sick right now. So give them some time, give them a break. Their appetite will be 60% of what they are, so it's okay if they're not having the same amount of bottles what they are. But the red flags are persistently high fevers, like the child doesn't drop, doesn't respond to medications to reduce the fever, is very cranky, very irritable, or he's sleeping enormously, very hard to wake up. Or if the duration of this illness is going beyond 2 weeks, that's when you call your pediatrician and say, hey, this is not going properly.
Cold.
This is not a common cold. This is saying that it needs something. That's when you see a doctor.
And so what might it be? did the cold turn into a flu, or was it the flu to begin with?
Right. Common cold is caused by a variety of viruses that I told you already. So there are millions of viruses. Some of them we even cannot culture them. So once a virus attacks, once an infection enters your body, a bug enters your body, your immunity is low because your body's defense system is fighting with it. So you're fighting for a long time, but you're supposed to recover at a certain point. Now, if the fight is prolonged, there's something called fatigue. If you're working for long hours, you fatigue, so you give way. The same way you give way with the virus. When virus attacks you, your immunity goes down. It's a good media for the other bugs to come and attack you. So the bacteria comes in. This is the bacteria which makes things worse, and that requires an antibiotic.
So the red flags are that if they've got prolonged symptoms,
Correct.
if they've got high fever, and if they're sleeping really hard.
Or activity-wise, they're just very dull. This is not the first time the mom comes and tells, this is not my child anymore. He's either too dull or he's too cranky or irritable. Because with every common cold, there is always a significant increase of ear infections in babies. So we have to make sure they don't have it. Because from the ear, they have a connection to the brain, and we have to protect that brain.
I once heard a mother say that her newborn had been diagnosed with allergies. I mean, not a newborn, but an infant had been diagnosed with allergies, and she said that's impossible. An infant couldn't have developed allergies this early in life. What would be your answer to that?
It's kind of interesting to know that moms come into my office with newborn, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think she has allergies and needs some allergy medication. It is not possible to have allergies at such a young age. A child or an infant needs to be exposed to one allergy season, because that is how he mounts an allergy response. So you're exposed to one season. For the second season, you probably will have the symptoms or the signs of it. And as the exposure goes by and your body gives way, you kind of have more aggravated signs or symptoms. So if I come across a 10-year-old and I say, your son has allergies, she says, no, he doesn't complain of it. Maybe not today, maybe later. But as long as he doesn't have symptoms, it's okay to watch. So it's very unlikely that a kid or a newborn is born with allergies. That's definitely not possible.
But the longer they live in a spot, do they become more immune? But if they leave and move somewhere else, they'll have allergies to that place?
There are certain allergies which linger around certain areas. So they are extrinsic allergies that they get used to, and some of them they cannot. Because I had allergies when I was in New Jersey. I don't have it anymore in Odessa.
Oh, that's interesting. We're going to have to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this program. And it's been such a pleasure to have Dr. Kola here. We'll see you in just a minute.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.